What's going on, guys? This live stream is brought to you by Hustlers Kung Fu University at hustlerskungfulifeskills.com. You can go there and begin on your economic journey. I suggest your first course you should get is the Finance Money Management course. Teach you how to prep your life for getting money. So let's get into the discussion today. This is crazy. I was watching YouTube, and there was this girl. Her name's Katie Carling. She came on my living in my car, my morning routine. And this video has a gang of views. And, I've been interested in people living in vans. I've talked about it before. But I read an article where cities don't know what to do about these families living in cars and vans. This is becoming an epidemic. And as someone who once lived in my car, it sucked. I never got a good night's sleep in my car. I never did. It was uncomfortable. At times it was hot. Because what I would do is I would like push it because I had a Mazda Protege. Let me find that. Let's see, 1994 Mazda Protege. Let me show y'all this car. I think that's what it was. Let's see. Hold on. Let me. Nope. I don't even remember what year this car was, but it was super small because I'm trying to find it because I had it was a 5 speed, but this is, I think it was let me see, is it a 93? Man, well, that's what it was. So it was a little car, and I would, slide the driver's seat as far back as possible and recline it as far back as possible. And it was just, I would lay there because I would not get good sleep. And I didn't do what these people do. They've got like the mats, they've got the water jug. I didn't do all that. Essentially, I just slept in my car, and I had a membership to a gym where I would shower, and the gym was open at 12 o'clock. So frequently, because I was only in the car for 6 weeks, I would stay in the gym parking lot in case I had to use the bathroom and go in the bathroom. And I slept in the gym parking lot many nights because of the access to the bathroom. So who would want to intentionally do this? Who would intentionally want to live in their car? Who would want to do that? T.L. Myers, yep, I know how that is. It sucked. Francis, I follow people on YouTube who live in a car and it's by choice and they're miserable and suffering and broken as fuck. King Nick, I lived in my car once for less than 24 hours when I was 21. I came to my senses and realized even my frugal had a limit. Never again. Prince Diamond, you were in a warm winter. Actually, it was winter. It was winter when I was doing it. So, that winter down here is, but, the whole economics of living in your car and living in your van, it's about economics. That's 100% driving this because I watch the van lifers, I watch the car people, and once that YouTube money starts kicking in, they get an apartment every time. Every time. So, who here wants to live in their car? Because, like, it was the social scientist in me was really on what was going down with the number of people. Because, like, van life, this chick with the curly hair and her snake, Alfredo, it blew up because van life is such a hot topic. T.L. Myers, my car was an Escalade, but it was still sucked. At least you could stretch out, you could expand, you could get back. But the number of it's just, I remember that experience, and there was nothing pleasant about it. I'm 6'1" in this little car, and also, once again, I wasn't trying to do stealth parking because people would walk by and see me sleeping in my car. And I'd be like, and this is something else too. I could not change into sleep clothes. I had to keep my regular clothes on in case, I had someone woke me up and I had to drive off or something. I wasn't in my pajamas. I couldn't get comfy. BK, bro, they're trying to get that down on my luck sympathy money. Well, if you create a YouTube channel and you get a lot of views, you're gonna make some money. You're gonna make some money. I've because one of the things I've been watching, I've come across new channels. People started a channel this year, got monetized. They've been doing YouTube videos for 6, 7, 8, 9 months. They're getting $3,000 a month. That's what the average American makes. That's what 50% of the country makes. That's the kind of money they make. So you get that from the YouTube money. Because I think one of the best things YouTube did was if you start a new YouTube channel, you had to get 4,000 hours and you had to get a certain number of subscribers. Because when they did that, my YouTube money went up. But, this whole business about living in a car. I think if you choose to live in a van or live in a car, and I'm going to kind of curve this, like say because old people, a lot of old people are starting to do this because there's this channel wondering, is the guy with a beard, and he talks about all these people. He lives in a van. Now when they interviewed him, he said if he didn't want to live in the van, he didn't have to. He chooses to live in the van because he just likes that lifestyle with him and his dog Cody. But once again, as a person who had to sleep in his car for 6 weeks, I would never do that again. I would never do that again. It just ain't happening. Because when you go through a period of being homeless, there's so many little things that you miss. Like being able to get up and go to the bathroom. You miss that. You miss being able to go in the kitchen and open up a refrigerator. You miss that. You miss so many things. Love you too. You do what you gotta do to survive. Survival is one thing. I'm about thriving. I'm past surviving. Francis, that's simply downsize to a room I recently upgraded to a studio. I'll take sticks and bricks any day, especially in New York City winter. What do y'all call that? It's brick outside. It's brick. I mean, that New England, that New York, New England, D.C. cold weather ain't no joke. I mean, like the homeless people in New York, D.C., Boston, the New England area, those winters are ridiculously harsh. They are like super, super harsh. So one of the things that, as part of that whole living in your car, that is just that's just it's crazy from a standpoint of personal humanity. Trucker, real spill. Uncle G, what made you choose your car over a homeless shelter? At that time, I didn't really know about. I don't think there was homeless shelters that took men. You know what? Now that you asked me that question, that never entered my mind that I was going to a homeless shelter. That never even man, that never populated in the gray matter, man. I never thought about it. That's now that you say, I never thought about a homeless shelter. One of the things I want to consider is I never really, even though I was homeless, I didn't see myself as one of those people. I had a job. I took a shower every night. I brushed my teeth. I shaved. Even though I was living in my car, even though I was technically homeless, I did not see myself as homeless and one of those people that needed to go to a shelter. Freezing out here. I feel like I'm back in Buffalo instead of Brooklyn. New York winter is New York winter travels all over New York, man. But that's a good question. I never actually even considered a homeless shelter. One of the things with the homeless shelters was you would see yourself, since I used to work with the disadvantaged population once I was working in medical, I never really saw myself as a disadvantaged population member. I wasn't on drugs. I didn't have any addictions. Um, Man, that's a seriously good question. But I feel that so many people are living in their cars and living in vans because they don't understand financial literacy. Because, there's so many things you can do to prevent that. Like this chick with Alfredo. She gonna be getting the house soon. I guarantee it. She gonna be getting the house because that money coming in. Philip. As far as I know, Abdul has made a speedy recovery. I don't think he's back to YouTube, but I know he was walking. He was doing his thing. I'm on his Facebook page. Apparently, he's been ghost for a minute. I don't know what's going on with Muhammad. Um, I can't see the last time that he posted. I hope he's doing okay. He hasn't posted on his page. It's been a minute. I'm down to August, and he has not posted anything since August. Well, no, he hasn't posted in a minute. Let me go ahead and message him. I talked to him last year, 12/27, 2018. Hopefully, he did not relapse. Speaking of hardship, this is funny. I can I went to the doctor today. That's my heart. They had to do an echocardiogram. I'll get the results a little bit. But it was funny while that was going on. The girl who was doing it, she did not, we were having the conversation. She didn't see anything abnormal while she was doing it, which is good. But I'll get the results when I go back to the doctor. Um, Speaking on that, I was, I got to the hospital in like 8 minutes. And I was going through the heart attack on the way to the hospital because it got to the point where I couldn't breathe. When rolled up into the emergency room, first thing it said, I can't breathe. It was getting harder and harder to breathe, and I didn't realize what was happening was that my heart was shutting down. And once I had this blockage, and once my heart shut down, then this is when I had the stroke. And, just going through, reading about it, I was very, very fortunate to be that close to medical attention and top notch medical attention. So hopefully Abdul did not relapse because um, there's a lot with getting sick because I will see him doing rehab and stuff on Facebook, but I have not seen that in a while. So hopefully he's doing well. Hopefully. Francesca, I work in the family shelters. My clients have Jordan's, hair weaves, and Michael Kors bags. When they get the vouchers, they pay their rent for a year. They keep the same chicken head habits up and end up in the same situation. So a lack of financial education is a serious. I mean that's really where it is because I mean you have so many avenues to make money today that there's no reason for that. But once again, when you fall on hard times, when you go through a health crisis or something like that, um, it is a trip. It is a big, big trip because one of the things that typically happens is your financial life falls apart. That's one of the big things that didn't happen to me. Like, first of all, because I did a video for the other new personal finance channel, and I was talking about becoming being a beginner investor, and one of the things you should do, you should become debt free. You should become debt free because if you have a lot of debt, even if your investments are making gains, they're eradicated by the interest that you pay on your debt. You're not really getting ahead. Oh, William Johnson, quite a comeback. That's an understatement. My doctor said I was a walking miracle. What's up, Wayne Johnson? Till Myers, I had 2 strokes last year, doing fine. Man, that two. Johnny Walton, I had the high. Oh man, you've got high blood pressure. Yeah, 200 over 130. Yeah, you should be in the 120s, like 70. Alpha truck. I plan to live in my truck once I move to Chicago. All right, man. The Chicago winters are worse than the New York winters. All right, Wayne. Appreciate it. Yeah, one medical crisis away from ruin. It doesn't take much for it is funny how this is one of the reasons I'm doing the financial channel, because you got a lot of people out there who would be in a ton of debt, and they would go out and start investing, and they will not make it. They will just kind of tread water because they have all this debt, and they don't realize that they need to pay the debt off first. And that's a hard thing for many people to wrap their head around, because they think, I'm investing, I'm making all this money, and they're in a situation where they're not really getting ahead, because once again, even if you have a lot of debt, and even if your investments like take off, um, you're still not really going to get ahead, because your debts are eradicating your gains. And this is why, because I'm just really starting to get into it. All right. So one of the things that, because like I look at the whole van movement, car movement, and actually I run into some people who live, in a van. It's kind of crazy what's going on with this van life stuff, because it's becoming like super, super popular. Yeah, like my blood pressure's 127 over 72 most mornings. Because this is one of the things, because after you have a heart attack that's been, high blood pressure, I have to check my blood pressure frequently. Alpha truck, I'm paying off my debt now, working as a local truck driver. My next goal would be my own truck and move to the Midwest and rent up. Thanks for all the info. Because, I just saw this thing with this chick who was, and her channel is very popular. And people like, she has mental issues. She is confessed to having mental issues, and she's got anxieties and other stuff. And this is one of the other reasons that she lives in a car, because her YouTube money should be about $3,000 to $5,000 per month. So if she wanted to move out of that car, she could. She chooses to stay in there. You got a lot of people out here, man. And here's the thing. Speaking of living in your car, living in a van, it doesn't take much to put you there. Because I want you to think about it. When I was homeless, I had a job, I had a car. I just did not have a savings account. This is one of the reasons that I preach you guys. You need to have a savings account and make your, with 15 to $20,000 in it. Because people like $1,000 emergency fund. Okay, that's cool, but you need a savings account with 15 to 20 grand. Um, when I had my heart attack, and it was so interesting. I had paid for this place 2 days before I had my heart attack. So didn't have to worry about paying for this. And I was in the hospital almost 3 weeks. And then when I got out, and I remember going to make the payment, and it was like those first few weeks out the hospital were rough, man. All I did was lay around and sleep. And it is, but one of the things I do is I watch videos where a lot of people are disabled or they have these personal challenges. Maybe they're amputees. And these people are so courageous because every day you got to deal with that. And, you know, it is crazy. The cold weather will change the mind of many people living in their cars. Jabras, I rented a room from a guy off Craigslist for 2 years. He was real cool. I'll never allow myself to be without my own place again. Good Lord. Like the boarding house got me from living in my car, and this is something else that happened. One of the reasons I moved into the boarding house is I wrecked my car, and I didn't have insurance. So the car was wrecked. I didn't have any insurance. My license got suspended. I had to go to court. I had to go on probation because I had all these fines. Love you too. I had a job, still have the same job, a car, but I also didn't go to the homeless shelter. That never really entered my mind because even though my ass was homeless, I didn't really see myself as one of those people, you know, pushing the buggy, got all their person. I didn't really can make that connection. And I think that's one of the reasons that I was able to, because, the boarding house, I mean, it was, hey, I was inside. Didn't want to go, didn't want to be around strangers. Hey, man, it's, um, it's a lot to it, man. It is a lot to it. Francesca, a lot of my clients have jobs in the car, but they have three, four children, but they have no savings. You nailed it. Yeah, I mean, here's my situation. I I, I get the police called on me. This is what happens. This is what precipitated all of this stuff. One night, I'm at work. I go home. I come home. I get into this big fight with my at the time wife. Then she picks up the phone and calls the police. I ain't touched this chick. Police come. Fortunately for me, The police believed me because at the time I was diesel. I was like 235, hard as a rock, benching almost 400 pounds, squatting 600 pounds, deadlifting 700 pounds. And the guy kept looking at me, and he looked at me, and his partner was going around. There was no furniture disturbed. And the guy said, "Man, frankly, I don't believe you. They ain't a mark on you." And looking at him, if he had touched you, you would be messed up. So do this Georgia law. One of you gotta leave. So she took the kids and left, and this started this whole. It became a mental issue because I was sitting there like, she called the police on me. I could have went to jail, and that just messed with me. Then I started messing up at work. I couldn't focus. I couldn't thinking. Then she moved out, and then I had missed so much work. Didn't have enough money to pay the rent. I went up to the rent office. I remember to this day, it's like, look, I can't pay you guys. I'm going to leave. And they actually let me out of it, and they didn't even put it on my credit report. So this is how I ended up living in my car. It was a state of mind. But once again, I had no savings. I had no savings. If I didn't get my check didn't come in every 2 weeks, I would have been in the world of hurt. And this is why I strongly urge you guys, as much as it's going to hurt, to start putting some money away. Get you $1,000 emergency fund and make a goal to get yourself 15 to 20 grand in some bank. Not in an investment, not in your 401k, but 15, 20 grand liquid that you can access because never know what's going to happen. Dang, Mr. G. I did not know that. Thanks for the $5 super chat. I have been a below the knee amputee for 10 plus years. Glenn, dude, much respect because you it's your normal. The things you have to do just to do normal stuff. Like going to the bathroom as a double amputee is a process. There's this guy in the wheelchair that I watch, and his whole channel is about how he lives and how he moves around, how he lives by himself. So congratulations, Mr. G. I did not know that. All right, Tony Brown. Yeah, because everyone needs a robust savings account because, this is one of the reasons that when I was in the hospital, and also I didn't. I had a stroke, which there is there's some stuff I was told that I tried to do in the hospital. I tried to grab this nurse's breast. I was talking mad. Like, who was this dude? And I contribute that because I remember none of it. I remember none of this behavior, and I think the memory loss because also this was scary. I could not remember none of my passwords. I couldn't remember how to log into my bank accounts or nothing. That took a few weeks to come back because I actually had to go. I got locked out of my bank accounts and I had to call to reset my passwords to get back in because I put so many failed attempts to get in. I mean, and one of the things that this has done is made me reconnect and strengthen my relationships with my friends. Because I just started reaching out to people and having lunch with people, people I've been friends with for years, and just making the relationship stronger in case I need somebody. All right, Mr. G, still working, still getting. All right, Lefty, I appreciate that. Because when I see these people like Barcraft Television has all these stories of people who were born different, W amputees. There's this channel, Footless Joe. She's one of her legs has been cut off, and she has like the most positive attitude about life. And I watch these channels, and it makes me go like, I had a heart attack and I had a stroke. You can't tell by looking at me And today, this is like 6 months after this. Today, I had one of the best workouts because I've been struggling with the workouts. I've been working out. Like the last workout really sucked, and I was like, just keep showing up, keep showing up. And I looked in the mirror, the muscles are starting to come back, like because I lost 30 pounds. And once again, if I did not have, well, I didn't even have to touch my savings account. The business, even though I was in the hospital, the business was still collecting cash, and I was able. I mean, money just stacked up while I was in the hospital. But once again, get yourself a savings account and tell yourself, I mean, I don't care if it's you saving $5 a week. Save whatever you can because it's going to make a big difference. Love you too. People these days don't want to save because they want to live their so-called best life of social media. I remember, I don't know if you guys know this. I used to work for the Census Bureau, right? And there was this lady, and she actually, she was an older lady, and she said, I don't understand these people waiting on the bus stop with cell phones. And, we don't think nothing of it today, seeing a homeless person with a cell phone or someone riding the bus. A lot of people, cell phones were considered luxuries. Today, I think a cell phone is considered a necessity. Um, you got to have one. But she used to talk like, I saw this, this was before the iPhone came out. This was a while ago, and she was just like, I will see these people at the bus stop on their cell phones. It's just crazy to me. Apple Cakes, much love to you, Glendon. You helped me so much. Appreciate that. Doing 52-week challenge. What's the Royston Gibbs? What's the 52-week challenge? Because, see, one of the things I'm doing with the personal finance channel, and let me go ahead and drop that. Let's see. Because I don't even know if it's in Google yet. The channel is so new. I mean, it only has like 2 videos. It's going to have 3 videos tomorrow. Oh, okay. It's finally populated up there. All right. So let me put this in the chat. This is the new channel. No, Erica, like normally I just don't grab the boobs of like some random chick. Normally she's some chick I'm interested in. Elisa Franks, they removed most all you know what? I don't think when I was in London, that's when I saw payphones. And it made me realize that we don't have payphones out here. 25, 50, 75 at the end I have 36,000. Congratulations, Royston. That's the kind of money that can change your life because so many people don't have a grip of money. They don't have a gang of money. $36,000 solves a lot of problems. So once again, much success to you in achieving your goal. But once again, I wouldn't have ended up homeless if I had a robust savings account. I had a job, I had a car, I had income, but typically, and this was when, rent was cheap compared to now. Because the last apartment I was in, my rent when I left was $1,100. That same apartment rents for $2,000 per month now. It's only been like 8 years. I mean, this is why real estate is the best thing ever because rent does not go down. Because going back in this time, I think my rent for a 2 bedroom apartment was $600, and this was a kind of an upscale apartment that was in Marietta near Life College. And I don't even. I'm trying because I know they didn't change the name of the apartments and they've been bought by somebody. Yep, they don't even call them that. They ain't even the name. Here's an old website that has it. Let me go ahead. Apartments. This is when Franklin Road wasn't the hood. Look at this ratings 1.9. I think this is. I don't. They're not on here. Nah, that is not where I used to live. That is not the footprint. But once again, I mean, a 2 bedroom apartment in a nice area, $600 a month. That ain't happening today. Rent does not go down. I mean, even these apartments are renting for 1,200, $1,500 a month. I mean, that's substantial. And one of the things that I would do, BK Pro 24 savings to help me weather a few unexpected storms. Oh man, 52-week challenge app. You can start any number. I started with $25. Cool. I didn't know that they had turned that into an app. I have to look that up. Let me see. Go in the App Store. What is it called? The 52 money saving week challenge. They got more. They got a few apps in here. Check this out. Thanks, Royston. There's a few apps up in there. There's another one. 52. There's like one, two, three, four, five, six. Six apps. Cool. Go ahead. Thanks, Royston, for the recommendation. Go ahead and get this app. This could be a tool to help you, begin on the path of financial independence because, financial independence starts with a budget. Even millionaires need budgets. And when I say that, people like, well, I want to be a millionaire because I don't want to have a budget. Well, once again, a millionaire's budget is not going to be as strict as yours. It's going to have a lot of fluff in there. Like, I just bought a new camera because the plan is, these folks around here have already started putting up Christmas lights, and I need to get filming because I'm going to do a Where the Rich People Live Christmas special in December. And I didn't want to use, so I just bought a camcorder that doesn't have the depth of field that my other stuff does, and that came out of additional money. Brandon, if I wouldn't have all videos, I wouldn't have known about super learning. All right, there's a pig on the icon. I mean that's just so cool. I didn't even know these things existed. Here's the pig. It's NISI challenge. 52-week money challenge, say 1,452 weeks. That has a pig on the icon. They all have pigs on them. 52-week challenge mobile. That's cool. So the apps are just put 52-week money saving challenge into your mobile phone and you're going to bring up a bunch of apps. Just put 52-week money saving challenge in your apps section. But, once again, this whole thing about money and living in your car, I ended up living in my car. I had a job. I had a car. But I did not have any attitude money. I had not a penny of attitude money. Had no money saved. I had no money. I had no money in savings. Not a penny. At the time, my credit was kind of trashed. Now that I think about it, it wasn't like super trash the way that it became later on, but I didn't have good credit. I had no money saved, and I had an okay income. But once again, getting into an apartment, they used to charge you like first and last month's rent before they let you move in. So essentially, to move into an apartment, you had to come up with literally 3 months rent to move in. Didn't have that. Didn't have that at all. And wasn't making enough money to really save that quickly. Because, once we went through the divorce proceedings, first thing they do is they instantly, before they decide anything else, they handle that child support. They handle that stuff before they decide when you can see your kids. That's how they did it back then. I don't know how they do it today, but so I was getting hit with child support. It was coming out my check. I was living in the boarding house. Then once I lost my car, I couldn't know. I was working for LabCorp. I lost my car. I lost my job. And that's how I got into the labor pool. Man. And the money, because I was complaining about the money I was making at LabCorp. Then the money in the labor pools really sucked. 30, $40 a day. But you'd be so broke that any cash is welcome. And that's where I was. I was in a very, very bad situation. And I don't think, even if I hadn't wrecked my car, I don't think I would have stayed in my car because, I went to the AJ Atlanta Journal-Constitution, and there were people in there renting rooms, and that's how I got in the boarding house. If I could do that all over again, I would have rented a room in someone's house. It'd have been me and one other person. That would have been more preferable. But T-Tone Fitness. I remember even Jay and Beyonce had a budget when looking for a new home in California. Hey, I mean, even millionaires need budgets. Mr. G in New York, we call it the three-way: first month rent, security, and broker fee. Erica Williams, honey, you will burn through money without a budget. Trust, saw a YouTuber sell stuff in his house overspending. Loyal, determined. How would you sell your internet intellectual property for a patent that goes into cars and trucks? First thing you need, if you got something that serious, you need to get a patent on it before anyone else does. But, I mean, for instance, so no more, Francesca, no more first and last month rent in New York City. They can either check your credit or your rental history. Landlords are even allowed to rent basement rooms. It's still illegal, but people still rent. Oh man, boarding houses. When I was living in a boarding house, that was illegal. And they got to the point where they started making them take the locks off the doors. So you got all these people in here, and now they're trying to. That's something else that's coming back in style. It never went away, but there's these corporations that are trying to create these boarding house situations. Shared living is a big, big thing. You got a bunch of people out here who cannot afford to live on their own. Just the reality. You got all these folks out here who cannot live on their own. So it is crazy what's going on out there. I mean, there's so much that's going on. There's so much that's out there. There's a wealth of people who are uneducated, like I was. The reason I ended up in that situation was I was uneducated. France sketch, yes, they come furnished with cleaning service. I came across a lot of these when I was looking for my studio. It's called Common Living. Uh, you know, van life, car life, boarding house life, shared living. When I was in London, and it ain't just here. It was in any city that has massive cost of living. The girl who worked in the hotel, she had 5 roommates, and she didn't really know them. She just answered an ad in the paper and moved in because she needed a place to stay. And this is what a lot of people are doing. You got a lot of people living with folks they really don't know that well. I want you to think about this. You living with someone you have no idea who they are. They're not a friend. You just like, hey, it was a cool vibe. And you could be sleeping with Chester the molester down the hall. And, because when I was in that boarding house, I didn't really know those dudes, but I could lock my door. And I had a room that had 2 exits. I could leave. There was a room that went into the house. There was an exit that went into the house. and there was an exit that went straight to the porch. So I can do a lot of stuff. So it was funny. It's just there's a lack of education because as a person who was uneducated that became homeless and didn't understand how the game worked, I didn't understand. Um, there was so much I didn't understand back then. I was just so massively ignorant into which the way the world worked. It was crazy how much I didn't understand how the world worked. I didn't understand the there was so many things I just didn't understand. I look back at the growth that I've experienced in it's just you got to read books. You got to go out and get knowledge. You got to do this. I mean, I have got to be so grateful for the people that were in my life. I mean, looking back at the person that I used to be, um, man, looking back, I was so ignorant. I did not know how money worked. I didn't know how businesses worked. I did not know how sales worked. And I didn't know the power of money because essentially this was my excuse for not saving money. All the money was going to the family. And because I was a family man, I was a married man with two children and a wife, I was financially irresponsible for not having a savings account. I was working all these jobs and, I had a really bad partner from a financial standpoint. And this was one of the reasons that I was hustling so hard. But even with all that, I should have still pulled some money away and put some money in the savings account. And I didn't do it. I did not do it. And this is one of the craziest things that I can think about when I look at the trajectory of my life. I am not the same dude I used to be. I'm not. There's no way that I could be that dude and be where I'm at today. I mean, it's kind of humbling. Mr. G, I live in a cooperative development. These types of places ask for the three-way payment plan. Private homes usually don't ask for that particular payment structure. All right, Rana, I appreciate that. BK Rockies. I know tons of folks having Craigslist random roommates to hack rent in the DC Metro. Troy Glover. Developer in Hilton Head, South Carolina is building affordable housing, dorm room styling, living quarters for low wage workers. That's what they do out here in the oil fields. BK from Rockies. That sounds like they're building hostels. Francisco, Mr. can't do that in New York anymore because of the fact that people don't have the money and the severity of homelessness among single employed adults in the major cities. But New York City is just simply unaffordable. Mr. G actually paid under 5 grand for my apartment and had to get a screen from the cooperative board. That's something else. That's a New York thing. Raygun, if you didn't hit rock bottom, would you be successful as you were today? I would say no. I was forced to search for answers in education. And after, there was a period of time I was just a bum. There was like a year and about a year and a half where I was just worthless. I mean, my wife called the police on me and said I hit her when I didn't. That just messes with your mental. I'm like, I didn't touch you. And it also portrays you as one of them dudes who be putting your hands on women. So that really messed with me for a long time because I didn't do it. And fortunately for me, the legal system worked. They did not arrest me. They did not, I mean, they were quite respectful to me. But I think part of the reason that I was in such outstanding physical condition, I mean, the dude could see muscles in my scrubs and stuff and just knew that she was lying, skank that she was, because I didn't touch her. In fact, I handed her the phone because I thought she was joking. Like, I'm going to call the police on you. That's what I'm going to do. Well, here's the phone. And then she like, 911. I'm like, what? I'll never forget that. My blood literally froze. This was the time when Rodney King got his tail beat on television when comedians were like, hey, this is Rodney King. I had all these visions going through my head. I was scared. Then that began the unraveling of our marriage. It began the unraveling of my professional career. And it just hit this year where everything just went bad. I ended up homeless. I ended up wrecking my car. I ended up in a boarding house. I ended up losing my job. Bad thing after bad thing. And I was pushed. I was so uncomfortable. My daily existence was so uncomfortable that I was constantly seeking a way out. So none of this would have happened if I hadn't went through that experience. I don't think. I really don't think. Be real. My brother was living in a one-bedroom apartment in Queens, paying $1,400 a month rent. He just bought a house 1 hour and a half away from New York City, 2,900 square feet, and the mortgage is $1,300. Hey, Mr. G, exactly, Mr. Be real. I have friends of mine moving to Delaware. Uh, what's going to happen is in cities like New York, Los Angeles, San Francisco, these are going to become enclaves for the wealthy. You're just not going to be a normal person living in these situations. Like teachers in San Francisco, they usually quit because they have to live so far from the job. that they have these horrendous commutes just to go work. And teaching is already a hard job. It's already hard, and then I gotta drive. You know, it take me 3 hours to get to work. But yeah, I've learned a lot on this journey, and this is the reason that I started the personal finance channel. Oops. Let's see. That's the first video. Personal finance for couples living on one income for wealth development. Um, I'm going to test out a few themes because I'm over in the studio that's down the hall, and I'm gonna. I didn't. There's not enough in that clip. There's not enough in the background for me. So I'm going to try some stuff, and here is another one. And this isn't for most people. Personal finance for entrepreneurs. So this is pretty much the studio that I'm going to use because that's the room next to the master bedroom. And I've got all that stuff that's going on in the background. So that's the new channel. And there will be another video up there tomorrow. How did I wreck my car? It was raining. I rear-ended somebody. Fortunately, there wasn't much damage done to their car. Oh, Black Caesar, like that chick's gonna move into a house. She already quit her job. Trev, are you cordial with your ex-wife? We have not spoken in 12 or 14 years. BK Pro, certain events in your life could trigger you to take action, seek a different path. Absolutely. Super One Man, you wear the storm arose from the ashes. People made it out from that. Well, you better believe that. Keith Wisdom, I was able to gift my sister $2,200 recently due to my savings. You a good man. Ron Stocker, just be grateful you learned. There are a lot of old fools walking around this planet. Sadly, they teach me what will happen if you fail to grind. Oh, I know people who are doing that too. This is the new channel. BK from the Rockies. Um, I am grateful that I learned. This is why I have a killer savings account right now. I mean, it has become a habit to put money away because I'm a self-employed person. I don't have, and I have a certain lifestyle. Like, this house. Like the guy that came to clean the gutters today, that was $250. I mean, there's just, because I'm gonna do some videos like why you should never buy a luxury car if you're a poor person. You got all these folks out here who are barely making it with a Benz or a Lexus. Um, that right there is not a good way to go. Like on my X5, I don't think I have any recent pictures here. Actually, like, let me tell you just what happened. All right. The tires for that car, the rear was 300, 6, 700. It's like $1,800 just for tires because it has staggered rims, meaning the rims in the back are much wider than the rims up front. I mean, That ain't a car that a normal person with a normal income should be driving. The maintenance on it, like, knock on wood, not too much is going wrong with it. But last time I had some stuff to happen with some of the vent seals, it was like $5,400. I mean, you should not be driving one of these luxury cars if you make average income because everything on them is just expensive. You know, oil changes are like 140 because they use synthetic oil. You just shouldn't do it. Uncle G, no, her first video blew up, man. Black Caesar. I know she with her snake Alfredo, she blew up. Eric Williams, did your kids help you from the hospital or family know about your health? That's actually my daughter knew about it, but she wasn't around, and essentially friends helped me. It was friends. I'm in a situation where my friends have been better to me than family. You know that's just been the reality of it. Like my daughter, she freaked out, and she's like, "Are you okay?" And she felt a little bad because she couldn't be up here to help me. But I was like, don't worry about it. I'll be fine. And this is once again why I am developing my network and strengthening old relationships. Relationships. You got good relationships with people. You're just not as tight as you need to be because everybody, we cool. Nothing's happened. Had these relationships for years, and I'm just working on strengthening them in case I need those folks again. Because as y'all know, I've talked about it. I no longer have a living girlfriend, and I ain't doing that again. She was able to max out her 401k. She was able to get ahead financially in life because she was living with me and I was paying all the bills. I am not doing that again. I am not doing that again. Next chick that you see me, we booed up, we living with me. Her income will be going into a bank account because you live here, your bills go to nothing. Her income going into a bank with both our names on a checking account, and that money will go towards investments. That will go toward investments. So, like she benefits from my economic progress, I'm going to benefit from her money. And I'm not going to marry some woman who's, because I was listening to Kevin Samuels and he was talking about certain kind of dudes don't care how much money a woman make. I'm like, bullshit. Like all my partners who are married have winners. All their wives make money, including the guys who are millionaires. No, nobody just has a housewife in my clique. So, because like once again, she gonna have to come to the table with some more than a pretty face. I mean, I'm just not doing it again because I feel like used, especially when she starts talking about, oh, I gave you X year amount of my years of my life. I'm like, you became a better person. You became more economically viable when you were with me. You grew tremendously. You got a lot. I mean, essentially, she came out better than a lot of women who are married broke dudes when they get divorced. I can say that with a clean conscience. She came out financially better. And the dog got sick, and that was like $4,000. She couldn't have paid for that if she wasn't with me. And I'm just sitting there like, no, 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 no. We ain't doing that no more. Yeah, I'm ranting and raving. Because I made myself the registered agent. A registered agent can't be the holding company. Never purchase a European vehicle unless you could afford the maintenance. That's pretty much true. It's the next five. Francesca, I'm becoming a minimalist, leaving New York City, getting that 15K in savings in 2020 and getting these income streams flowing. Hey, Super One, same here. Been better than family. I mean, that's been the reality because my family's just been shitty. I mean, this ain't nothing new. This is, you go back to other videos, I talk about that. Dominica Skipworth, greetings. I can understand that folks bless me in life more than family. No, Kevin, I don't. Erica Williams, I had surgery. I didn't know that. And girlfriends took me home until my mom came to help. Hey. All right, Chris. Erica Williams, she did both. She saved money and she maxed out her 401k because she wasn't paying no bills. Now she living on her own. She has reduced the contribution to her 401k. How about that? How about that? She's like, yeah, I can't, she's like, I can't save as much as I used to. I wonder why. Oftentimes, family treats you worse than enemy. Women can't get youth back, though. Once again, she's a grown woman. We're in a relationship. And if she was unhappy, she should have left sooner. I didn't have no shackles on her. She stayed because it was good. It was financially good to stay with me. That's why she stayed as long as she did. And, women can't get youth back. I can't get that money back that I lost with her. The economics that she gained offsets her youth because she went from making 50,000 to 130,000. That's what I'm saying. She did way better than many women who've married broke dudes who got divorced. She came out much better, and thank God we didn't have a child. I was looking at a photo album today at Woodstock event occurred in August. There were plenty of hippies who were living in vans. Hey, Aquaman love. Glendon, I wholeheartedly concur. I was engaged to a Bahamian pageant queen that's overrated. If the P90 is gold, then my D4876 is platinum. As for up, I did the live-in girlfriend thing. She progressed and I regressed. True, she became a better person. Aquaman, I don't hear from my family unless they want money. It's hurtful but true. Hey, I see you, Erica. You laughing. How many women are going to be compliant with all of them don't even want to cook? So, I'm a little salty about it. When I was having my echocardiogram and the lady that's taking, we were discussing it. I was just sitting there like, yeah, had this situation. I'm a little salty about it because, like I said, when she started making money, her little attitude changed, and money provides options. But I thought it was funny when she said I had to reduce my 401 contribution because now I got to pay my own rent. I'm like, oh really? And she'd been out there and been on some dates, had some intimate things, and it ain't the grass ain't as green out there as she thought it was. It ain't even close to as being as green as it was. This grass was fertilized. This grass was maintained by Dominicans. And it's very interesting because, now that I'm getting better, like that workout today, that was one of the best workouts I've had in weeks. I actually was able to squat 275. For someone who used to squat 500 pounds, and when I started, I could only do 135, and not that many reps. So I'm progressing, and I'm starting to get my muscles back. I'm starting to look around, and I got a whole different mindset on this thing, man. true today. It's 100%. I'm 45. Pretty in youth versus money. Tracy Stevens, it's important to establish the kind of relationship you want with someone that is ready. There's really no right or wrong in this direction. Hey, I'm just saying, it ain't as green as she thought it was. Normalization of ignorance. Women love to be cooked, but they don't know how to light the pilot. Erica Williams, that's exactly what she has. She has stability like a mofo. Things didn't change. Demonica Skipworth, you can go to Hustlers Kung Fu Life Skills, aka Hustlers University. That's where I have everything. Turf, I'm 100% with you. Good Lord, normalization of ignorance. Grant Cardone's motto is what's mine is hers, what's hers is hers. I was like, you could say simp. Grant chased her. She wasn't interested in Grant. Grant had to convince her to like him. Super one. Women don't respect what they've earned, education, careers, and any title that you give them without them supporting your progress will make them feel like they're rated because of beauty. Kai Green, you ain't never lied. Aquaman Love. I'm glad you're on this subject. Chick wants to move in with me. I told her that we'll have to do a contract. We're both nurses. She's out of town as a travel nurse. Aquaman Love, let me go ahead and give you the blueprint. Have this conversation with her. You want to move in? Cool. What we're going to do is we're going to live on one income and we're going to take the other income and we're going to create investments with both our names on it. So you're going to open up a brokerage account or you're going to invest in real estate because you live together. And this happened to me. You know, she was spending money on stuff. She was doing all kind of stuff. And we kind of had an agreement that she used to put 1,500 into an account, which I had to check her a few times to make sure. I was like, okay, you're supposed to be doing this. It's been 3 months. You should have X amount in there. And when she moved out, she tried to stick me for like X amount of dollars, and I was like, you've been living here rent free for years. No, I ain't giving you no more money because she didn't have the money saved. Because she was, she didn't have that money saved. That's very interesting. Tracy Stevens should be comparing everyone she dates to you. Oh, I know. I'm the blueprint. Look, I took care of her better than her own daddy did. And, she wanted out. And, she wanted to experience other things. And I'm like, cool. Enjoy your life. You wouldn't like it if she came back because you were sick of she claiming unhappiness, so it gives her a reality check. If you treated her nice and you enjoyed the relationship, think of the good time. She ain't coming back. That ain't happening. Because, like I said, from this heart attack and this stroke, it has taken me many months to come back to me. Today, I feel like this is the closest I've been to my old self because I looked in the mirror and I was like, oh man, muscles are coming back. Because I got like skinny, flabby. I lost a lot of weight. I didn't have no energy. It was just like, it was a horrible situation. And, as I go through this thing and I think about it, I was like, dude, you played yourself. Because, I checked her a few times, but I really didn't push her. I mean, she had it so easy. She had it so easy. And talking about she was unhappy. I didn't spend enough time with her. I was like, I told you, you're not coming between me and this business. This business supports me. AKA heart attack, in the hospital for almost 3 weeks, come out, bills paid. My business did that. She didn't do that. And I will thank her for helping me and taking care of me. But I've taken care of her for years. She took care of me for a few weeks. And now that I've come back to my correct mind, because when we had these conversations and she talked about playing house and stuff, and I'm just sitting there like, you weren't playing house. You were well taken care of. And you were ungrateful. It is what it is. Rod for real estate, grant broker down the dollars help make the difference. Yep. Normalization of ignorance, it depends on the age. If she wanted kids, it changes her focus. Thank you, normalization of ignorance. There was a conversation of kids and stuff, but once again, I had this situation with the chick before her who got pregnant on me, who, that essentially, if you want kids from me, you got to act a certain way. Playhouse asked me to marry you. See, at times she was competitive. And that's one of the things that killed her because she would get competitive. Because, like, downstairs, there's a gym in this house. And, she started working out, she'd get competitive. And I'm like, I compete out here in the world. I kill dragons. I don't need to be competing with anyone in my own house. So that was another thing that killed her. Thank you, Erica. Like, I feel so much better. Like I said, I'm almost back to being me. And once I put on some more muscle and I start tearing it up in the gym, because, I've been going to my doctor's appointments. They've been looking good. We're going to see how this echocardiogram. The girl didn't look all crazy because I was watching her the whole time. And, just keep on and go ahead and, hang out with my friends. Make sure those connections are strong. Next year, I'm moving. I already know this. So next summer, I'm moving. So this will be another studio. Aquaman love self-privation, less aggravation. Raygun, it's a blessing. Yeah, it is. It is a blessing. I look at it with gratitude each and every day because I could be dead. I mean, I almost died. I had a full blockage. I got a stent in my heart. I got one stent. And, fortunately, it was a world-renowned cardiologist who was on staff. Dude knows his stuff. Like, I was having some congestion and shortness of breath. He prescribed one pill I have to take once a day. Start feeling better literally within 18 hours. And, because, he knows my history. And he was like, if that one pill doesn't work, because there was a concern that, because my heart and my high blood pressure had damaged my kidneys, that I may have had to go on dialysis. They were talking about putting me on dialysis in the hospital, and they held off. And I go to my kidney doctor, and my kidneys are slowly healing. So, it's a whole bunch of stuff that went down. I know, Turf. So once again, like I said, I'm getting more and more back to my original self, and there's a lot to be said and a lot to be understood because I reflect on the person I used to be, and I was an uneducated, financially unsophisticated person. And now that I've become financially sophisticated, my life has changed. Never again will I be, I could never actually be broke. Being broke scares me. Being broke terrifies me. Like this credit card statement just dropped the other day. I already paid it off. I got I got like crazy credit limit on this credit card. I got money in this bank. I got money in this bank. I got money coming in. And I'm still a little nervous because I know what it's like to be 100% ass out. I know what that feels like. I know what that tastes like. I lived that life and I'm not going back. I think maybe that was one of the things that was keeping me up was because I couldn't run my business. I was disabled. I couldn't do anything. I was sleeping all day. So maybe that's one of the things that was keeping me up. Normalization of ignorance. This is why the old guard still works, man. I was down in the gym working out. I did a set of Smith machine squats, and then something funny happened. I started breathing weird, and that's where it happened. Tell Myers, I'm 53 years old. Erica Williams, yes, my surgery put things in perspective. I got the trainer and added to my investments. Dude, I'm married. I'm chilling with the kids. My rentals are my contribution to the marriage. Can't do broke ever again. It's too much. I mean, I'm telling you, like some of these sugar babies, they're so broke. Well, this is a scam. Like, hey, send me $100 for gas money so I can see you. I'm like, I'll never see you. Gas money ain't that expensive. I drive an SUV that takes premium and they don't take $100 to fill that sucker up. So what are you talking about? It's a scam. But I mean, they're so broke. They're begging for a little change. I could never do broke again. Knowing what I know, it's just it can't. I can't let that in my life. I just can't. But man, we've been having a good time here. I'm like way over, way over. So yeah, I remember the heart attack. I was in the basement. I was working out. I got on that Smith machine. It felt heavy. Then I started breathing. Then I started burping. And, at the time, my girl, she came down. She looked at me and she got alarmed. She sat down while I was like laying on the floor because I had stripped. And like 30 minutes later, we were heading to the hospital. So I think I actually I was having my heart attack as I was in the hospital because they had to intubate me and I was out for 3 days, tube down the chest and all this other stuff. So I was really, really messed up. And, this is why, once again, I'm strengthening my relationships because if I need these people, I got to show up. I got to show up during the lean times. The lean times, ain't nothing going on. Hey, how you doing? Like today, I reached out to every one of my friends. Hey, what's going on? How you doing? How you living? Every last one of them. And this is something I used to do that I've fallen off of, and a lot of people are really glad to hear from me. I'm going to just keep, because you got to keep these, my family, they ain't going to do nothing for me. And the family that would have done something for me have passed. All of the old heads, they're gone. Because my mother was the youngest child, because her youngest next brother was like 16 or 17. T.L. Myers, neck surgery and 2 strokes have totally changed me. Now searching for the right venture to get into. Ray Gunn, oh yeah, have you changed your diet? Big time. One of the things is I don't eat fast food. Like I don't go to McDonald's and stuff. Now I did go to Arby's. That's like once a week. But yeah, because they got me on 5 medications per day. 4 of the medications are for my heart, and 1 is for cholesterol. And my cholesterol is normal. My blood pressure is normal. Gibran, that's a really good question. I think she loved me in her own strange, dysfunctional way. I think. But once again, I've been through many, many different situations because one of the things is, and I've had this argument with some people. I believe that friends can become family, operate and act better than blood because I go how I'm treated. That's the template. That's the standard. Like how you treat me. Just because we got the same last name and bloodline, that don't mean nothing to me. If you ain't treating me right, if you treat me right, cool. But if you ain't treating me right, that means nothing to me. All right, so I'm getting ready to bounce. be sure to go to Hustlers Kung Fu University. Go ahead and grab that where your courses are. And I will see you guys later. There it is, Hustlers Kung Fu University. Just to let y'all know that something's coming up in the personal finance education space. I just got to get the channel going, and I'm going to create another platform that's going to be dealing with personal finance and stuff like that. So that stuff's going to be substantially cheaper than a lot of the stuff at Hustlers Kung Fu. Just saying. All right.